this week on the Bubble Chat.
Because at the end of the day, what's done is done, and they have been dragged into this never-ending legal battle for what feels like an entirety, and the lawsuit settled. They just need to move the fuck on.
In this world and these people, they just don't have no sympathy or empathy. They just don't. And people just need to mind their freaking business.
I would assume that he's a teenager. I would assume it ain't like you ain't never seen me drunk before.
I didn't like that. Some things are not to be said, and then
Or repeated.
especially if you're saying it, shedding it in a negative light. Talking about, because she was high, like we all knew with relapse. Like you said, like, girl.
In the most humbling fashion, that I serve aggravated oral assaults every day in the algorithm. That's my comedy type, though. You see what I'm saying? It's my comedy type. My comedy doesn't fit everyone. My comedy won't make everyone laugh. But one damn thing for sure and two things for certain, my shit is relatable. There isn't anything that I'm saying that will not snatch your soul of the truth, because I'm really not lying. I'm just giving a downified exaggeration of what I see.
And welcome back to another beautiful week inside a tank. You are listening to the Bubble Chat, the only corner of the internet where we deliberately refuse to burst your bubble. I'm your host, Jawan, and as always, I am joined by my favorite partners in pop culture crimes, Adonis and his niece Chastity.
If you spent any time on social media this week, you already know the internet is currently collectively losing its motherfucking mind over that celebrity breakup. And you know the one where the subtle Instagram girl unfollowing spoke louder than any publicist statement ever could. We're breaking down the breadcrumbs, the theories, and why everyone is suddenly Team Motherfucking Future Store.
Oh, and the furniture store drama is truly the gift that keeps on giving. And you know we have thoughts. But that's just our warm-up lap. Later in the episode, we are diving deep into the internet's latest obsession, the sudden aggressive resurgence of early 2010s indie sleaze fashion. We brought receipts, regrets, and a few old photos we promised ourselves we would never see the light of day.
Oh my God, it is a safe space for fashion crimes, I promise. Okay, plus stick around until the end because we are introducing a brand new segment called Unpopular. Say it, nephew.
Unpopular
effervescence.
Yeah, effervescence.
Okay, unpopular effervescence. Okay, where we take our spicy hot takes from the listener's mailbag and decide if they deserve to float or get popped. Ooh, that game sounds deadly. Okay, so today's debate: whether iced coffee in the dead of winter is a personality trait or a cry for help. Most definitely is. Bitch must be depressed. The group chat is already divided, so we don't want you to miss it, okay? So it's going to be a wild ride. So grab your favorite sparkling drink, get cozy, real blunt, wherever you are listening, get into it, because right now you are listening to the motherfucking Bubble Chat. Let's start bubbling.
Let's start bubbling.
Chastity, we always say, like the great queen of TV said, Wendy Williams said, how you doing?
How you doing?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, child, we have to talk about the legal battle that genuinely feels like it's never going to end. I'm talking about the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Now, just when you think the war is over, their French estate and the winery, see, that's rich money. We don't have problems. Chateau Miraval has hit a standstill. A new plot twist drops. Now, TMZ, these thirsty motherfuckers know everybody business. Just learned that Brad is being called out for allegedly making some incredibly sneaky behind the scene moves to secretly gain information on Angelina's side. Okay, white people problems. And the call out isn't just, and the call out isn't even coming directly from Angelina this time. It's coming from the Russian vodka giant Stoli Group. Oh my God, how'd they get into it? So Who brought Angelina's half of the winery back in 2021? According to legal documents obtained by TMZ, Stoli, the vodka people, claimed that Brad's legal team had been making some seriously improper moves. They alleged that back in December of 25, Brad's team quietly fired off a subpoena to a bank involving a bankruptcy case that Stoli had filed out in Texas. Okay. And the call out isn't even coming directly from Angelina this time. It's coming from the Russian brand Stoli, who brought Angelina's half of the winery back in 2021. Now, Brooklyn's weed isn't as high as gas is. What do you think about Brad's team going to the links? And do you know, and what do you think this winery's feud will ever actually see a courtroom trial?
Honestly, if you want my real take on this whole thing, this entire winery baloney between Brad and Angelina, it's just an absolute fucking mess at this point. I am so
Right.
incredibly overhearing about it, and frankly, I think everyone else is too. Because at the end of the day, what's done is done, and they have been dragged into this never-ending legal battle for what feels like an entirety, and the lawsuit settled. They just need to move the fuck on. Really, they really do. That's
Seriously.
my 2 cents.
What you think, niece?
I agree with you on. They need to just LIG it, but that's kind of like out of my tax bracket to really speak on what's going
That's
on
all
now.
I'm saying. This is white
Look,
people, rich problems we can never relate
it
to.
is. Yeah, but I totally agree though. Yeah, they need to LIG it.
I like see it.
LIG
Let
it.
it
Let
go.
it go.
Let
Let
it
it
Let
go.
go.
it go.
Now look,
Okay.
this is what I was thinking about. Now look, okay, we got the white man and the white woman that got married. They didn't. They didn't married a baby from every continent of the country of the world, right?
Yes.
And then when they break up, see, this is shit you really got to pay attention to. See, they broke up. Now we got to split the assets and all this shit, and we got the chateau, bitch, and we got the winery, and we got vineyards and all this shit. Okay, so if the shoe is on the other foot, I want to know who is Brad fucking and calling, because we know who Angelique fucking and calling. She fucking and fucking with the Stoli group. Now, if she play this right, she could be the new P Diddy, and we could all be drinking Stoli instead of Ciroc. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like I said, that's out of my tax bracket. I don't understand them white people problems. I'm trying to figure out what the kids gonna get. All them damn babies they got. But
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
I heard one of their kids changed their last name, I believe. I think
Yeah.
that was,
Sick
yeah,
of
it
that
was one.
shit. So is
Yeah.
it a
Yes.
Jolie or a Pitt?
I think it's
I
a
think
Jolie.
Brad is the issue.
I, oh.
Mm.
Oh, I think
So he
one of the
broke.
kids is on Angelina's side. I don't really know for sure.
That's
Right.
because she got the money. She fucking with the Stoli people. Go ahead,
Yes, out
nephew.
of my tax bracket though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, moving into our next story, a TikTok video has gone completely viral over the past few weeks, and it's sparking a massive conversation about the absolute length people will go to when they decide to mind everyone else's business but their own. A content creator and dad named Tyler Brodsky was on a road trip with his two young daughters, traveling from Florida back to Oklahoma when they stopped at a quick trip gas station in Alabama for a routine bathroom break. While they were inside the stalls, an angry older man suddenly came storming in, screaming and hollering. Tyler started filming on his phones for their safety, and the now viral video shows Tyler just trying to help his little daughters wash their hands at the sink while the man stands aggressively in the doorway, scolding him, shouting that he has no business being in the women's restroom and calling the police. The man was speaking loudly into his phone, claiming that his wife and very ill mother-in-law had reported a man inside the women's facility. Fortunately, Tyler managed to keep his composure completely for his kids' sake, and the real estate company issued a statement that man is no longer associated with the company. And thankfully, Tyler and his daughters are doing well and doing safe. But I want to throw this over to you. When we see a father simply doing his job to protect and care for his young daughters on a road trip, and it gets turned into a hostile viral police incident because a bystander refuses to show an ounce of common sense or empathy, what does it say about the current state of public surveillance and hypervigilance in America right now? How do
Before
you
we
feel?
go any further, was the man hollering like this color, and then was the daddy this color?
No, no, no.
No.
The man was no. The man who was harassing him was this color, and Tyler, from what I know, is this color
He's
as
that
well.
color too. I actually seen the video. So hearing this story, I thought the dad had took his daughter into the men's restroom, and I thought the guy was like, because I seen the video, he was standing in the hall in the doorway, just yelling or whatever. But being that he did take his daughter in the women's restroom, I still don't find no issue with that. In this world and these people, they just don't have no sympathy or empathy. They just don't. And people just need to mind their freaking business.
Right, right.
Mind
Yeah,
their business. This is a child. This is a child. She clearly can't go to the restroom on her own. She needs assistance.
exactly.
She needs assistance. So he probably should have took her to the men's bathroom, but either or, it doesn't matter. It's a kid. He's not doing no harm, no foul. He's making it seem
Mhm.
like the dad was on some creepy stuff. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me just get this right out of the gate. I think
okay.
Tyler an absolute did absolutely everything right in the situation. Because if
Yes.
I were out in public and I saw a father taking his young daughters into the restroom to make sure they're safe, I would absolutely have zero problem with it.
I would have
The rea-
admired that.
because the reality is, in a crazy world that we're living in right now, like you said, Chastity, you never know what can actually happen. I mean, have heard millions of stories where young girls and boys were sexually assaulted after being left completely unattended in a public restroom, and Tyler
Yes.
was simply doing his job as a father to protect his daughters and
Yes.
from this exact nightmare. I mean, if you look at what actual safety experts say, like Dana Eve, who is a brilliant criminology and safety expert, she heavily encourages parents to never let their child go into a public restroom alone. I'm actually going to link one of her videos in the show notes below if I find it, because she talks about the about this constantly in her content. She explained that predators rely on opportunity, and a child
Yes.
left alone in a public restroom by themselves is exactly that. And that and that the only place her kid is going to the bathroom alone is inside her home. Now, I get it. It was a woman's restroom, and women use that facility for their own privacy. But having a sign on the door doesn't magically stop a predator. It doesn't mean that there isn't
Yes.
a chance that a dangerous man or a woman could walk in and do something crazy to someone inside. I feel like once a child gets into their teenage years and they naturally start wanting more independence, that is when parents should start having those real serious conversations with them about what to do if someone enters the bathroom and tries to do something that makes them feel incredibly uncomfortable, specifically
Yes.
when it comes to the threats of sexual assault. And the most basic foundational rule you can teach your kids is never ever overlook the gut feeling when someone approaches them or say something that just doesn't feel right. So I want to give a massive round of applause to Tyler for keeping his composure and protecting his daughters in every way possible. He's an amazing dad, and it is awesome, honestly, to see that company cut ties with the bullying.
Good job, Dad.
Very good. And I was gonna say now, I politicize it, but I'm gonna politicize it just a little bit. Okay, so they just the Supreme Court of the United States of America just passed a law in, I want to say, Virginia, South Carolina, Mississippi, South Carolina, where they banned or they're stopping trans boys or girls playing sports, right?
I did hear about that.
Right. Okay. Then and a part of the argument with that was the locker room. You know, it's really boring a boy. It doesn't have breasts. It's supposed to be in there with them. It's not necessarily about playing the game. That bathroom, that locker room calls pause, right?
Right.
Okay, now I say that representing the dad and the daughters. Someone's in the bathroom that someone has a problem with. Okay, let's talk about the motherfuckers. I got the problem with the motherfucker in the bathroom. Okay, what would the man have said in the bathroom? Would you would have went in the bathroom? Would you would have kicked him out the bathroom? Or would you would have monitored what you may think is or isn't is in the wrong gender bathroom? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Like you a hater. You know, y'all say mind your business like you a hater, but why are you hating? You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know what y'all time feed or does on X/Twitter, but Planet Fitness bathroom ain't nothing but a fuckarama. Okay, I don't know what they do in the ladies' bathroom, but a lot of foul shit goes on in the bathroom. So I'm happy that the daddy was there doing his due diligence, but I'm giving a mean puffy side eye to the man that was being super inquisitive or intrusive on the father trying to protect or keep safe space for his daughter to use the bathroom. How about that? Yeah. So, Daddy of the Year award. We just had the BET Awards. They put the Daddy Award up there. He can get it.
Good job, Tyler.
Yeah, good job to him. Well,
Brother.
transitioning into some messy celebrity legal news, it looks like actress Christina Ricci and her husband, ex-husband, James Hurricane, are right back at it. What easily becomes one of the most toxic, never-ending divorces in Hollywood. James just rushed to court to demand an emergency hearing regarding their custody arrangement after an alleged incident that went down mid-flight. According to the legal filings, James claims that their young son contacted him directly to report that Christina was heavily drinking alcohol right next to him during a June 16th flight to Canada. Because of that, James was pushing the court to mandate immediate alcohol testing for the actress. However, the judge ultimately shot his request down and denied the emergency order. But what makes this really heavily is how it's impacting their son. The court ruled that any specific records, statements, or details from this plane incident that James wanted to submit into the case moving forward must remain completely sealed from the public eye. Their son's legal counsel stepped in and explicitly told the judge that there is a very real dangerous threat that public access to messy these messy court records could severely jeopardize the stability of the child's mental health. Turning over to you guys. When a celebrity divorce is this radioactive and parents are just continuously weaponizing allegations in emergency court filings, how do you see the court's decision to seal records protecting the child, and what is your take on this ongoing battle overall? How do you feel about it overall?
Nisa, let me go first. I'm gonna look because you're a lady, because you can really speak as a
I was just about to say that, I'm all for the kids, and there is no handbook to be a parent. But come on now, Christina. Come on now. Like, you have to think about the child, and I hate to hear this, and I hate that it's really affecting the child. I don't think that when couples go through divorces or breakups or whatever, they don't realize how it affects the children. And just drinking in front of him, acting belligerent or whatever the heck that transpired, it's not okay. So I think the judge needs to make sure that this child is safe, because clearly she's not really in her right state of mind, and the child is going through it.
this is what I was gonna say. It's a twofer. Okay, so once again we are entering the tax bracket that we cannot relate to. Okay, I like Wednesday. That's Wednesday Addams, Christina Ricci, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was a chick that was in Monster with Charlize, the Dior model, right? On killer shit. I like what's her name? Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci. I like
Yes,
her too.
Black Snake Moan. I love Christina Ricci. Now,
Me too.
Now look, do y'all remember the white girl that was the prostitute in Hustle and Flow?
Yes.
Dang, what about me? Okay, now y'all know she out here drunk, peeled out, getting robbed by the junkie nigga she was with and all the things, right? I say that to say we really don't know what be going on behind the gates of the people that we admire, not like idolize, but like Christina Ricci was also Thelma and Scooby Doo, right?
Oh,
I don't
was she?
know.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
I
about
she
that
don't.
was the
one.
I
little
don't
girl
think
with
she
the
was.
with the bang. Or the
Right. I know what you're
blonde.
talking about, Velma. Velma. I don't really know for sure. I have sure
I
I
think it
never
was
even. I
her.
don't even think I've seen her in a Scooby Doo movie before. To be honest,
I think
Right.
if she was if it was confirmed that she was Velma on a Scooby Doo movie.
right. So what I mean by is not idolizing them, but when they give us nostalgic feelings, she even being Wednesday, that's an iconic character. Period. In comedy, TV, cartoon, all that, right? And so, we admire these people. Now, imagine if we was talking about Angela Bassett in the same fucking way. You was Tina Turner. You're Bernadine. You're Mother Wakanda. And then, can you not get drunk? Can you not have a drink? But here's the gag with the baby. That little nigga wouldn't know. He's not a little baby. He called his daddy. My mom, this bitch over here sipping sauced out. Pops, I need help. APB 911. So at that point, I'm thinking, how old is the kid that he got up and was like, Dad, you know what I'm saying? 911. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she was, I would assume that he's a teenager. I would assume it ain't like you ain't never seen me drunk before.
Right.
You
But
see
I
what I'm
think, but
saying?
and so I don't think that's the problem. What the issue is that she's getting too intoxicated to where it's causing friction
Yeah,
and
they
to
was
where
in
it's
public, right?
messing with him. Yeah, I think they were on a flight. They were on a flight, and yeah, she's because I have a cocktail and all those things. My kids see me, but I'm not in here giving them hell or embarrassing them or
Look,
whatever
and ain't no telling
transpired.
what type of pharmaceutical asset or accessory she had to match the drink.
Yeah, I just hope that it does work out and that the child does get protection and stuff like that. So hopefully that does turn into a good thing as
You
long as
know,
it's been going on.
looking at this from the standpoint of someone who closely tracks and analyzes the ethics behind celebrity media,
Right,
I feel like we are seeing this exact pattern happen far too often. I've come across so many radioactive celebrity divorces over the years where the courtroom is essentially weaponized, and one ex will accuse the other of something incredibly serious just to gain
Mm-hmm,
leverage in the
mm-hmm,
headlines or in the
mm-hmm.
custody fight. And like the here's the thing, there's like a mystery round. We don't even know if that's true or not. And we've
right,
seen it all. People will throw out an allegation of an ex faking cancer or a devastating cheating scandal, or just like we are seeing here with Christina, claims that someone is completely infatuated with alcohol or illegal substances. And I think the most frustrating part about this current media landscape is the minute an allegation is printed in a legal document,
right,
the public treats it as an absolute fact when the reality is there is a completely unknown theory of it being even being true. And this is a little bit off topic, but I was listening to a podcast where Vanessa Williams
Which
was
one? The singer?
Vanessa Williams who apparently an ex-photographer of hers was taking photos of her like naked,
Mhm.
and like people will start sending her death threats, hate threats, all of that. And so but the thing of it is this: we just don't know what is happening behind closed doors, and that is exactly why I am so glad the judge in this case actually showed some ethical restraint and ruled that these records have to remain completely sealed for public access. Because here's the thing: when you have two grown adults who are deeply locked in a toxic, resentful cycle, they often, lose sight of the collateral damage. And in that case,
right.
The collateral damage is a young child whose mental health is actively being jeopardized because his parents'
Mhm.
private laundry is being aired out for millions of strangers to gossip about. As observers of pop culture, we have to stop taking every single emergency court filing as gospel. People say desperate, ugly things when they are hurt or trying to win a legal battle.
Yes.
So until actual concrete evidence is brought forward and proven, I feel like we need to treat these heavy accusations with a massive grain of salt, mind our business, and remember that there is a real kid caught in the crossfire of this mess.
David,
Yes.
nephew, I'm going to just let you know there is something called public opinion. And I'm going to use OJ Mighty Motherfucking Simpson as an example. There was 1,000 people say he did it, 1,000 people say he didn't. He got off and the nigga still back in jail as if he did it in the first place. So, and then shout out to the Kardashians. You bitches made it. But it's just like, the I don't know. I know we don't know these people, especially we don't know Christina Ricci and them like that. But in other cases, like with Britney Spears, we knew she was getting high. With Puff Daddy, we knew he was a freak. So, I'm just saying, public opinion, sometimes we don't be wrong. Like this orange motherfucker that live in a house of color white rice. You see what I'm saying? He ain't right. But, I digress. Moving forward.
Moving. So let's get into this. TMZ is reporting that Whitney Houston estate is absolutely furious with Oprah Winfrey over some highly controversial comments Oprah made over in the France at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity. While speaking on stage at the festival, Oprah recalled Whitney's legendary 2009 comeback appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
She claimed to the audience that Whitney had unfortunately relapsed at the time, showed up to the taping high on drugs, and actually fell right off the stage. Oprah then claimed she had to literally had to beg her studio audience not to leak any
Mm-hmm.
pictures or talk to the media to protect Whitney from being completely destroyed by the press.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Whitney's estate, which is run by her sister-in-law, Pat Houston, is not letting it slide at all. Pat fired off an empathetic, strongly worded statement to TMZ, completely shutting Oprah's narrative down. Excuse me. And holding her accountable for rewriting her history. The estate confirmed that while Whitney absolutely did fall on the stage, it happened during a closed sound check, not the actual performance. And it was entirely due to the extreme darkness of the stage area and Whitney being unfamiliar with the new set layout. How do you view the ethics of digging at this painful narrative so long after an artist has passed away, you guys?
Okay, now we have to understand that Oprah don't
Excuse
have
me.
the best journalistic fucking record because Oprah was the one that had Michael Jackson in that goddamn tree. Talking about you never climb trees. Her ass is at the bottom of that motherfucker, right? Oprah was the one that set Monique up, knowing she had a horrible, traumatic relationship with her family of all the things that went on in the past, but you still brought them on right now. Whitney is a little bit different. It's the same thing, but it's different now. Whitney is just like I said in the last little conversation we was talking about. So, right? So, you see what I'm saying? We just let the truth and the chips land where they may. Okay? You wasn't clean like that, Whitney. You wasn't clean like that. You didn't have the best track record, but you got the best motherfucking vocal pipes. But you didn't have the best track record. So if by chance, now here's the gag. I remember when she did the interview with Diane Sawyer, high as fuck. That goddamn ring on her finger big as a goddamn light bulb. Talking about she was sober, bitch was high. So
Talking about crack is whack.
yeah, for real. Okay, so what all I'm saying is, but she didn't say nothing about the cocaine and the crystal methine. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm trying to point out is whether you fell because it was dark, whether you fell because your ass was high, bitch, you fell. But Oprah, back to you, you're dirty, foul, and faulty. You want to know why? I've been on 3 studio audiences and they took my camera on 2. And I only had my camera last time because of Jawan's mother, Shay Sugar, was a guest on the Sherry Shepherd show, and we were part of her entourage, and it let us keep our phones. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
Got it.
at that time, we wouldn't even bitch. Was Instagram and all that shit out then? Like it wasn't popping like that, and we didn't, and our phones weren't that technical savvy like it is now. So I think Oprah was lying. I think Oprah just gave up a little fake dirt. She probably gave up some grit. She gave up some grit. It wasn't no dirt, and you know
I'm gonna say this. Um, Oprah, you out of pocket. I don't know what does Whitney Houston have to do with the festival. That's what I'm like. How I wonder how the conversation came about.
they
Now,
asked they asked like give us a like a something we wouldn't know. Give us a story. You know what I'm saying? One of your experiences. So she just kind of went down memory lane with the thing with
she
the
went down memory lane. Yeah. I didn't like that. Some things are not to be said, and then
or repeated.
especially if you're saying it, shedding it in a negative light, talking about because she was high, like we
And
all
relapse.
knew with relapse, like you said, like girl, get get on Oprah, like don't disrespect the queen like that. You know that's our auntie. Rest in peace, Auntie Whitney.
Right.
Completely
But
get what I was going to say that I completely get why Pat Houston and the estate fired back so aggressively because it really feels like Oprah took that entire situation honestly completely out of context. And
Yes.
my only reason for feeling that way is that when Whitney fell on the stage during the sound check, there was really no telling whether she was actually on drugs or
right,
not right
right.
then. I mean,
Mhm, mhm.
look,
Because she
I mean,
could have just
look, we
fell
all
not on drugs or being on drugs.
I
But
just
why
said public
mention that?
opinion. I just said public opinion. Oprah
Yeah.
Because
thought
like
Whitney was hot.
but but we all know like the history there. Whitney does have a very well documented history of substance abuse, and nobody is trying to erase or deny that reality. But like
Right.
at the same time, there is a very high possibility that she might have been completely sober for that specific period of time during her
Right.
2009 comeback. The truth is, I don't really know for sure, and or I wasn't there. I was too young to even know that an artist would even have a struggle like that, to be honest. And frankly, neither does anyone else who wasn't standing right next to her. I feel like it's just so incredibly unfair to take a physical accident like tripping in the dark on an unfamiliar stage and immediately attribute it to addiction just because that happens to be the narrative people who are familiar with. And so when you reduce a legendary artist's entire life down to her lowest moments, you completely strip away the discipline, talent, and hard work she has put into her craft. So unless someone has definite proof, jumping to conclusions that she was just high just because she lost her footing and incredible intense insensitive, especially coming from people who claim to be her friend. I mean, the essay is absolutely right to hold people accountable for projecting those assumptions.
No,
Very
for
point blank.
real.
But I would like to back up your point when you said, it takes away the discipline, the hard work, and the talent that they had. I mean, if you think about our greats, they said Michael Jackson was addicted to propofol, and nobody knew Prince was addicted to heroin or opioids until he passed away. You know what I mean? And it is embarrassing and a little bit slanderous for Whitney for Oprah to say that about Whitney. But then I was thinking about it. Oprah old like that now. Oprah at the age, she don't give a fuck. Patty LaBelle out
Yeah.
at Luther Vandross, and they talked about Usher and Quincy Jones and Clive Davis was, spilling tea before they went on up out of here. Now I'm not wishing no early exit date for Oprah, but I think she at the age she don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that commonly happens when you
You
get
know?
older.
Yeah.
That commonly happens when you get older and just say things like, let's even put back into reference with the dad, Tyler, bringing his daughter into the
Uh-huh.
restroom. The guy that was being belligerent to him,
Mm-hmm.
he was an older man. He was a
Yes,
senior
yes.
citizen. So just like when you're just get to be old, I guess. And I say it all the time. I hope and pray I do not become an old bitter bitch, an old bitter woman, and just nagging about
You
things
know,
and
Mama
bringing
Cat
up
said
things
let you have
and
it, girl.
saying things to people that's inappropriate.
Hmm.
Like, no,
Hmm.
like,
Like
come
that
on
orange
now.
man that live in the color of white rice.
Yes, so let come on now, Oprah. Come on, that was a no-no. You should have never did that, my girl.
All she had to say was allegedly.
Look, she didn't even have to say that. She just could have just said she just freaking fell.
For
The
real.
fuck?
It's all right. We love you, Oprah, and rest IP to the wonderful Whitney Houston. But I will say, Oprah, you might want to keep your head on the swivel because them Houston bitches, they don't play.
Yeah.
I think if Dionne Warwick catch your ass somewhere on a red carpet, bitch, you better duck. But transitioning into some really eye-opening commentary from the comedy world, Saturday Night Live alumni Leslie Jones is opening up about some of the deep frustration she experienced behind the scene during her 5-year season stint on the legendary sketch show. Now, during a recent performance on the Sam Sanders Show podcast, Leslie kept it completely all the way real about how she felt boxed in by the show's writing staff. She admitted that she had found it incredibly frustrating that the writers would almost always typecast her as the exact same character, the girl who was either angry, beating up people, or in love with a white boy. Les explained that the reality of the SNL team saying that is what SNL does. They make you a character of yourself. She confessed that when she originally joined the cast, she was very excited to be a part of the show and didn't fully realize what was happening at the time until it kept happening over and over again. Now, she even tried to push back against the writers, telling them to stop writing her that way. But she said that, excuse me, the machine just kept rolling because they told her the angry character was successful and would build her character. Now, while she ultimately described her overall tenor on the show as being deeply bittersweet and says she definitely doesn't miss the intense mental toll of the job, she did emphasize that the platform provided a great foundation for stand up comics who are trying to find themselves. Now, turning this over to you. When an incredibly black, talented comedian speaks up about being reduced to a one-dimensional aggressive stereotype on one of the biggest comedy platforms in the world, what does that say about the major entertainment institution's struggle to write diverse, multi-layered human for people of color?
What Leslie mentioned right there is a huge deal, but honestly, it isn't anything new. I mean, this has been a persistent battle for Black women in media for decades. Because if you look back at the actual data, the Atlantic highlighted an Essence magazine survey that revealed what so many Black women already known from the firsthand experience. Pop culture just does not depict depict them accurately. When they polled Black women, the respondents noted that the real world Black women they actually know in their daily life tend to fall into incredibly positive categories like the young Phantom or the accoladed girl next door. But the survey found that the images of Black women actively pushed by media outlets, whether it's on TV, in social media, or in music videos or in film, were overwhelmingly negative. And the media constantly forces them into these restrictive, damaging stereotypes like gold diggers, modern Jezebels, baby mamas, uneducated sisters, ratchet
Right.
women, mean Black girls, unhealthy Black women, and of course the exact angry Black woman trope that Leslie was trapped in. Honestly, I could go on and on and on. Because what Leslie exposed about her time at Saturday Night Live just goes to show that even on the most prestigious mainstream comedy platforms, production companies are still heavily relying on these exact same lazy, outdated racial stereotypes to get a cheap laugh. And it proves that despite all the talk about progress and diversity in Hollywood, because the gatekeepers behind these scenes are still using the same old textbook formulas. Instead of writing Black women as multi-layered, complex human beings, they turn them into one-dimensional caricatures. It's frustrating, it's lazy, and it's why we need people like Leslie to keep calling it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, most definitely. That I don't know if you guys seen the Nickelodeon documentary and
Quite on set.
the Nickelodeon documentary.
If you're
Um,
referring to Quite on set, then if you're referring to I what were you referring to? And Tessie, I'm sorry.
how remember the little black girl? She I forgot one of the scenes, but just hearing this story, it just kind of made me think about that. And clearly, this is what, like you said, they kind of do. They've been doing it for years behind the scene because it's what sells. It's what's getting the views. It's what's getting the ratings and stuff like that. It's unfortunate that that's just what it is, but because I even post stuff on my Instagram. I post stuff positive and won't get that many views or likes. But as soon as I'm posting something about some BS or drinking or twerking or something,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the views is going up, baby. So
Mm-hmm.
that so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just what um I'm not surprised to hear this really.
Right. Woo. Well, speaking as a comedian and a controversial motherfucker as myself, because I have just come to realize in the most humbling fashion that I serve aggravated oral assaults every day in the algorithm. But that's my comedy type though. You see what I'm saying? It's my comedy type. My comedy doesn't fit everyone. My comedy won't make everyone laugh. But one damn thing for sure and two things for certain, my shit is relatable. There isn't anything that I'm saying that will not snatch your soul of the truth because I'm really not lying. I'm just giving a downified exaggeration of what I see. It's really
Right.
what I'm talking about. But I say that to say, when she says that the machine, or they told her that we're exposing you for you to find yourself, right? Um, Having a conversation yesterday, we were talking like emoting emotions, right? Like being
Right.
mad, like crying, and I was saying that crying and anger represents many facades. You can be hostilely crying. You could be hostilely upset. You
Yes.
could be crying very somberly. You could be upset on a subtle, on a lower end of the energy spectrum, right? So it's the same thing with comedy. It's really the deliverance of it all. It's the deliverance of it all. And I know that with anything that I say, it's going to incorporate the truth.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? All of my comedy is honest comedy. I'm not gonna make anything up. You can see what I'm talking about, and when I say what we both see, you'll see it in a different way. Everyone won't find it funny, right? Um,
Right.
but that isn't to stereotype me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it ain't like I can't lie and tell a joke, but for the most part, I have an honest humor, right? So when they say they were trying to like categorize her, one dimensionize her, keep her boxed in, as she said, like, yeah, like, well, then I'm going to have to be an angry black woman, or I'm going to have to be in love with a white man so many different ways. Because if you want to just see it this way, I can still be angry, I can still be in love, but I'm going to have to show you different faces of angry and different facades of love. You know what I mean? I just think that it kind of makes sense because
Yeah.
I'm a comedian. It kind of makes sense. You see what I'm saying? It's like they keep you in the envelope, but don't they say, don't you push the envelope? Don't they say we have rules, but don't they say rules are made to be broken? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So for me, it's like not saying that she's not funny nor talented, but then at some point, I'm like, well, bitch, did you take the back seat? Because that shit is live. You know? Yeah, I mean, and then I don't, and this is no shade. There isn't a remarkable, iconic scene that I remember of Leslie. I can think about Eddie Murphy being Gumby. I can think about that lady that was in Bridesmaids when she was like Kamala Harris. I think about those was he was from Nickelodeon, Keenan and Kel. The guy that's on there, he be a newscaster, but there's the other black dude when they be doing the new him and the white guy. They be the news broadcasters. I remember them. I don't remember Leslie like that. So I'm happy that
Adonis, real quick. Were you talking about Maya Rudolph?
yeah, the one that plays Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I'm saying there's people on the staff throughout the history of SNL. I remember iconic moments. I don't have an iconic moment of her on the show.
Got it. So, as we continue rolling through our celebration of Pride Month, we want to take a moment to shine a massive, well deserved spotlight on an absolute icon who has been a staple on our screens for decades, the one and only Raven Simone.
From capturing the entire country heart as a toddler on the Cosby Show and hanging with Mr. Cooper to completely define a generation on the Disney Channel with That's So Raven and the Cheetah Girls, Raven Simone is true Hollywood royalty. But beyond her incredible history-making career as an actress, singer, and director, she has also become an incredibly vital voice for the LGBTQ plus community. When she officially came out publicly back in 2013, expressing her joy over the legislation of marriage equality, it was a massive moment for representation, especially for young black queer individuals who rarely saw themselves reflected in the mainstream Disney stars. She was even honored by LA Black Pride with the Trailblazer Award for her undeniable impact on television, film, and culture. She has shown all of us what it looks like to navigate an industry as demanding as Hollywood while fiercely protecting your peace and owning exactly who you are.
And we are fucking back. Welcome back to the Bubble Chat. If you're just now joining us, grab your favorite sparkling beverage, get cozy, and get ready because you hopped back into the tank of the absolute perfect time. Before we went to break, we promised you a little something extra for this episode, and we are men of our word. It is time to pull back, well, let me say men and women of our word. It is time to pull back the curtain and officially reveals today's bonus hot topic. Let's get into it.
All right, so for today's hot topic, American Idol alum Clay Aiken just sat down for an interview on the Hollywood Raw podcast, and he broke his silence on what he calls probably the most catastrophic week of his life: his infamous on-air clash with Kelly Ripa on Live with Regan, now titled Live with Kelly and Mark. For anyone who needs a quick refresher on this iconic piece of pop culture history, Clay was guest co-hosting the show with Kelly 20 years ago. During an interview segment with the winners of Dancing with the Stars at the time, Clay felt like he wasn't getting a chance to talk or ask any questions despite having his name on the cue card. To try and be a little funny, he playfully reached over and placed his entire hand directly over Kelly Ripa's mouth to keep her from speaking. The room instantly turned ice cold. Kelly immediately pulled his hand away and said on air, and I quote, "Don't know where that hand's been, honey." But the real drama happened the following week when the late Regis Philbin returned to studio. Kelly completely called Clay out on live television for his hostility and impropriety, telling the audience that there was a total lack of respect and that you don't put your hands over someone's face and mouth while they are conducting an interview, even if it's meant as a joke. Turning over to you, when a 20-year-old live TV mistake resurfaces, it really highlights how fast a playful joke can cross a boundary and completely derail a career. How are you processing those reflections overall on this catastrophic week, and where do you draw the line between a guest host trying to get a word in and actual on-air improperty? How do
The
you feel?
line, the line is draw, baby, when you put your hand on my mouth. Don't do that. That's where the line draws. Like how old are we here? Like we're all adults and we are professional. Don't put your fucking hand over my mouth, especially like you're disrespecting me like I'm doing an interview. Like that it wasn't cool. That was a big no-no. So yeah, that's where the line draws.
Look at my boy. Look at my boy.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I were, hold on, if I'm gonna be honest with you right now,
Uh-huh.
um, I don't, I don't really know for sure, or I don't know if there was like a major disagreement or happening between them behind the scenes leading up to that moment or not. But what I do know is that if that were me personally, I wouldn't even think about putting my hand over someone else's mouth on live television. First of all, from a workplace standpoint, it's just incredibly unprofessional.
Very.
Because when you're co-hosting a major daytime show, you have to find a way to navigate the conversation verbally, even if you feel like you're being talked over or ignored. Because touching someone else's face to quiet them down completely crosses a professional boundary. And beyond the lack of professionalism, let's talk about the absolute elephant in the room. It's also highly unhygienic.
Yes.
Public spaces, microphone, studio, or sets, they are an absolute breeding ground for germs. I mean, especially with the hand. We don't know where that hand has been. We don't know if he was sneezing on it or touching, or maybe touching something like poison ivy or something,
Or
or
we don't know if he
something,
been
Himself.
or
digging in
and
your
we don't even know,
ass. We
if
don't
it
know if he
might.
been digging
And
in your
no shade,
ass or your nose.
no shade. We don't even know if it might be on his crotch.
Yes, say it,
And
nephew.
if you
Say it.
But so if you're guest co-hosting, you spent the whole morning shaking hands with producers, fans, and crew members. Kelly actually called into the View later and pointed out that it was literally flu season. She had three kids at home, I think, I don't know for sure, and she had no idea where his hands had just been. So yeah, Clay might have meant it as an innocent, playful joke to get a word in, but physical boundaries exist for a reason. Covering someone's mouth is uncomfortable, gross, and a total daytime television no.
And I'm just making this correlation through RuPaul's Drag Race. A lot of those drag queens that be like serving, killing. I don't even watch the show like that, but the shows that I watch, the rawest ones be like, I'm from North Carolina. Raleigh to be exact, which is where Clay is from. So I don't he I think that the Southern Belle inside of that man's body, he came to a point to where he couldn't tell her to shut up because that would be rude. And let's talk about that. Now he was trying to make her be quiet, right? Now, shut up is a threat. Be quiet, it can be aggressive. Shut your face. You're supposed to say shut your face. Or be like you're supposed to put that in a question context. He was past the question, bitch. Shut the fuck up. He was trying to say what he was trying to say. You see what I'm saying? But nigga, that was her show. You know what I mean? And I mean, but like I said, I just think that the inner drag queen, that Southern Belle came out of him, and it was in the wrist and it was upon her mouth. And like she said, I don't know where your hand been, honey. And damn them damn three kids, you got to be worried about Mark's crotch and his cock when he get home, bitch. You bring that home that you got on the set from the country fleet, like ew. But that was creepy. That was kind of skeeve a little bit. I don't know. I just think he was just trying to say what he was trying to say, and all he could do was put his
Yeah, I'm
wrist around.
definitely honestly giving the side eye for that.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
the side eye and a hand and a bottle of hand sanitizer. Yeah, well, and just like that, it's a wrap for today's episode of the Motherfucking Bubba Chat. We have covered a lot of ground today, and as always, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, hanging in out in the tank with us, and keeping the energy alive in the comments. Yes, thank all of you so very motherfucking much. If you have enjoyed today's conversation, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Maybe
And
four, maybe three,
yes, yes, yes.
one.
Never know, look, never
Maybe five.
two, and you better not give us a one. And share the episode with a friend who loves the drama just as much as we do. Now, don't forget to check out the show's notes below for all of the links and resources that we talked about today on our show. Now, we drop new episodes every single week, and we make sure that notifications are turned on. Oh, no, we want you to make sure that your notifications are turned on so you never miss a beat. Now, on that note, we want you to take care of yourselves, each other, protect your peace, stay safe out there, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Stay in the bubble.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.